Yeah, as a sales guy, I'll give it my best shot from a sales perspective. And I would answer the question this way, and I will preface my comments as by saying, I am not an IT professional, and I don't want to pass myself off as one. One such customer that uses this product every single day of the week had that same question, taking top tier content with a high degree of sensitivity and vulnerability, quite frankly, from a risk perspective, evaluated us on that very topic. And we went through a very thorough process of reassuring that customer that those assets, in the way that they're the way that they're transferred and the way that they're stored in the cloud, and the privacy that surrounds and the security that surrounds those assets remain untouched and completely secure and pristine. This was an extremely high mark for us to have to meet. It was something that the product natively does. I can only tell you that we met that test with flying colors, and this major mainline well-known broadcaster, again, has accepted us based on that and uses it every single day. There's an application, again, alluded to from a third-party provider perspective, and Netflix was mentioned, and I'm going to reference Quibi in this particular case. So we have a client that uses Trance, and they struck up a relationship with Quibi, and all of a sudden, very quickly, they need to turn around content to Quibi, but the requirements for them to turn this content around are extremely narrow and very exacting, meaning that specifically the time frame to do this is roughly within the 60-minute window, and this is going on a rotational daily basis. So high pressure, short turnaround time, but also with an exacting standard of accuracy based on the Quibi style guideline. And so that's one particular use case where the overarching requirement for this customer was speed, accuracy, and the enterprise workflow of being able to get this work done and get it done quickly to turn content around the short form assets to a carrier like Quibi or an outlet like Quibi. And this would apply for Netflix as well, and there are other outlets. That just happens to be one that is top of mind and very prominent right now. Another application would be independent caption providers. These would be small companies that have relationships in the broadcast space, or sometimes in other areas, other OTT markets or other VOD type of markets. And they're looking to leverage Trance to be competitive in these alternate markets, maybe not so much in the live broadcast segment for reasons we've already touched on. And so they come to us looking for a solution saying, hey, I need a better tool than what's out there in the web and the app-based marketplace for translation and transcription. And this is, again, where Trance fills a really neat niche or gap in the market. From these providers that are sort of a one-size-fits-all. They're not agile. What you get is it's pre-configured, whereas with Trance it can be wide open and we can export in any number of formats, and we have all this enterprise flexibility, but yet it's still approachable and usable for a small shop that, say, has 3, 4, 5 employees. So we're seeing applications and adoption of Trance in scenarios like that. There's another application, this came up fairly recently, where another client has said, we'd really love to take long format assets, typically raw field content or long form interviews, and we see a need to be able to take these assets, automatically transcribe them, and take the transcription as metadata and index it back into the asset, so that it gives the operators and the editors and people producing this content much greater visibility into, say, an hour-long recording. And this is another way in which the product is being used, not just directly caption something to go to air or some OTT delivery, but they're using it as a metadata source to index back to the raw content for greater post-production accuracy and efficiency. And then I think the last one I would draw your attention to would be CBC, or the Canadian Broadcast Company, where they are using us to do conformance. One piece of the product is the ability to conform existing content to, again, a specific style guideline, like a Netflix. In this case, that's exactly what it is. It's one of the outlets, and that Netflix parameter is very rigid and very demanding and exacting. And so they use Trance to auto-conform any inconsistencies in their existing captioning process to make sure that what goes out and gets delivered to Netflix is fully compliant based on those, again, very exacting style guidelines. So those would be 3 or 4 examples of, you know, mainline broadcast media
Sure.
sort of in the trenches applications where the product